Assalamu alaikum. My name is Salman Mahmoud, and I'm the writer and director of Whale Watchers. Whale Watchers is a feature length fictional narrative that takes place in a world that looks and feels like our own, but with a very important twist. The story takes place in a world that sits on top of a whale. Now, no one can actually see the whale or prove its existence, but the concept is the backbone of society's culture and the core component to many people's religion. With that in mind, you'll find that the characters often act in accordance to where they live on the whale. The wealthy upper class sit at the highest altitude of the whale. They pride themselves on being high and dry away from the water. Your altitude is the direct correlation to your status in society. Next is the college campus. The local university sits below the upper class, but is still well away from the sight of water. The campus is full of color and represents a student's beginnings that have not yet been tainted by the realities of the world. And lastly is the shore level. The shore level is the home to the urban slums and the people in need. The ground is always wet as a reminder of the rising water. Being the closest to the sea, the people of the shore are naturally the most aware of the whale. Without distractions of the world that come with altitude, the people of the shore find that they have the closest connection to the whale. They are the most faithful. And those are the three worlds that make this story. Now, to introduce the characters. The protagonist's name is Benjamin Wolf. Ben is a professional broker for a major real estate firm, and he's been given the opportunity to join the elite class of the world. This potential success is especially important to Ben, as it would be the redemption for the impoverished past he once came from. Because of the hardship he's experienced, Ben is empathetic and a kind individual. But his charming demeanor slowly unravels as his instinctual devotion to escape his past life exposes his selfish side. Ben must decide if his devotion to never drown again justifies the drowning of another. The story begins as Ben is assigned a very difficult project to purchase all the necessary land in order to proceed with the West Plaza development. If he can complete the project, he will be promoted to the executive level among the wealthiest in the world. But he soon realizes this project is far from smooth, as a homeless population find refuge within the property lines of his project. Among the homeless population are two orphan children. A girl and her younger brother are the moral obstacle in Ben's path to success. The orphans unequivocally remind Ben of his past self. They are innocent, yet victims to a world that has forgotten about them. Their names are intentionally never referenced in the story to highlight the ugly reality of how children can be treated like statistical data, stripped of humanity and dignity. The orphan children are the past that Ben has forgotten and abandoned. Bonding with the children, Ben convinces himself that because he came from the same struggle, only he can be the one to save them. He believes he must rise to the elite class in order to properly send the elevator back down to those in need. But his morality becomes diluted as pressure weighs in on him to act quickly and mercilessly. Inevitably, Ben chooses to go forth with the project and accept the moral cost that comes with it. In the end, Ben pushes the homeless population off his lot to proceed with the project. But his pursuits are futile as the plot of land begins to flood. To his surprise, Ben is confronted by the orphan children one last time on the sinking lot. They question if Ben truly came from poverty like he previously suggested. Offended, Ben reacts aggressively to insist that he has never forgotten where he came from. The children rebuttal, asking how then could he have forgotten about them? How could Ben then become the one that did this to them? In his final moments, Ben realizes the doom he's destined for himself as he hears the screech of the whale while the water rises. Ben realizes that the whale is submerging into the water as if Judgment Day had finally arrived. My vision for this film is to establish Ben as the protagonist of the story, but allow for the audience to determine if they support the protagonist or support the hurdles in his way. The protagonist often being the character we follow and root for. I want the audience to see themselves and their ambitions in Ben's actions. Adopting Ben as an extension of themselves not only allows for the audience to critically evaluate the character he becomes, but also encourages the audience to reflect on who they are as characters in their own lives. The key vision I have for this film is being the protagonist is not synonymous with being the good guy. And whether we choose to accept that or not, the truth will be perfectly clear when we all inevitably have to meet the whale. The key vision for this film is realizing we are not the protagonist. The whale is. Whale Watchers is meant to be a refined expression of my raw emotions towards the world around me. I hope the film will properly shed light on the dichotomy between poverty and wealth, the oppressed and the oppressor, the silenced and the silencer. Although the world is never simply that black and white, I want to tell the story in a way that allows the audience to resonate with their own personal experiences and reflect whether they fall on the dichotomy spectrum, where on the dichotomy they fall, especially here in America. But my favorite part of the film will certainly be the credits. In the credits, the audience will finally learn the names of the orphan siblings. Simply put, they are the children of Palestine. I humbly believe I deserve the grant as my film is intended to shape the public opinion here in the Western world. Although the story does not take place in our world, there is a concept of faith, oppression, and destiny, very much like the world we live in. My intention with the film, and as a filmmaker, is to elevate Muslim representation in media and illuminate the crime America and Israel has committed on Palestine. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum.